Okay, Wayne. Well, I honestly do appreciate you being willing to come and talk to me about this and sort of being the first person that I interview. Um, Obviously, I know your story, but other people don't. But I know that you are a willing soul and that you want people to know Jesus, and so your heart is that you want people to hear your story, so that they too may come to know Him. And so yeah, so let's just start, mate. So Wayne, tell me what was life was like before you became a Christian.
Um, well, I thought it was all right. To be fair, I never really had no troubles. Grew up with my parents and my brothers and my sister, and never wanted for anything really. Not saying we were the richest family in the world, but we never wanted for anything. There was always food there, always clothes on our back. You know what I mean? Did all right at school. Was quite active, swimming clubs, basketball, ice hockey. Uh, yeah, to be fair, I always landed. Did myself some work. I got into work pretty quick. Always been a worker. Never really been out of work. So yeah, I think.
So what was your kind of did you have a an understanding of God before you sort of decided to come to church, or what was kind of your understanding of God growing up?
Um, I remember going to Sunday school really early on.
Hmm.
Whether I actually paid any attention, I don't know. My mum always had sung of praise on, which I just thought was absolutely boring, if I'm honest, and didn't really pay too much attention to that. But then later on, and as the story will go on later on, you realise that I probably did actually pay attention to.
Yeah, there's things that you sort of picked up on as a kid that maybe picked up subliminally and that you realise later on. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's the same with all of us. So what were the circumstances that kind of brought you to put a foot in the church?
Um, where do I start? Basically, I was in a relationship with someone. It was going great. It was all right. I was seeing my daughter on a regular basis. She was coming over, staying, and then yeah, everything was great until one day I was a little bit drunk and started messaging someone else and got found out, and that ended that relationship. Um, my daughter suddenly phoned me up and said, "Dad, I'm not coming over to see you again. I'm not coming to stop with you again. Pretty much, I don't want to see you again."
Yeah,
She was only 9, 10 at the time. 9, and she meant every word of it. Like I couldn't phone her. She wouldn't come and see me. She wouldn't speak to me. She meant every word of it.
yeah.
So I only did what I knew best at the time: drink and other recreational substances, I guess.
Yeah.
Um,
Was that
yeah,
just to help you? Was that to help you cope and just
yeah. That
yeah,
was the only way I can say that now is what most people do it for, to blank out everything else.
yeah,
Then obviously when you wake up in the morning, they're still there, so you start again. Um, I was averaging 20 bottles a night of beer. That was like Monday to Friday. Well, pretty much 7 days a week, to be fair.
mm,
And then obviously anything else in between that I thought might have helped me, but they weren't. So I messaged my pastor of my church. I don't know if I can say names or not.
If you
Um,
don't think he would mind, then I don't think that's a problem,
um,
or not.
well, I messaged my pastor of what's now my church. And I remember I was always drunk when I was messaging him, and it might have been 12 o'clock at night. I don't know, whatever time it was. Just saying, like, would God accept me? Would He take me? Do you know what I mean? Like all the silly worldly questions, really. Like, would He forgive me for what I've done?
Mm.
And He was obviously gave me the advice. Yeah, of course He would.
Mm.
Of course you'd be welcome. Blah blah blah. Well, I just got worse, and I wanted to end my life. To be fair, and one night I drank. I've got about 30. Well, I know I had 36 cans and 3 bottles of wine,
Wow.
and yeah, I was messaging Aaron saying I was gonna end my life, and he was like basically just he gave me the probably what he now would say is something about not the normal advice, but kill myself next week, but come to church tomorrow. was was pretty much the advice. I don't know how normal. He says it's not very normal advice, but I think he knew that God knew that I didn't have much time on my hands, so
I guess
I
yeah, I guess at 36 cans a day, then that's kind of like you probably weren't long for this world anyway. Were you?
yeah. So that was on the Saturday night, and somehow I woke up. I don't know how, because I'm pretty certain that would have finished a lot of people off. And I'm going to say staggered to church. I don't think it was quite working, and that's how I ended up in there. Uh, don't remember much of the first service, if I'm honest. Just sat there crying all the way through, to be fair. So
I think I remember you. I remember you there coming to that service, and I remember you sort of sat right near where the sound desk was,
yeah,
and I do remember you being there. And so, what was it that happened to sort of turn things around? What was it that made you realise that Jesus was real and that he was prepared to accept you?
well, I think I went there expecting suited and booted, the perfect people. Probably what most of the world thinks that you're going to find. But obviously, it was a lot different than that. They were all roughly the same age as me. They were all just normal people with their own issues, which you find out later on. But as I say, the service, I can't really remember. I was too intoxicated. But I remember I was taken into the prayer room with the pastor and another member of the congregation. And they said, what can God do for you that nobody else can? That you think it's impossible, pretty much. And I just said, I want my daughter back. And she'd gone, I want to say I think it was about 3 months without saying a word. It's like without any sort of communication at all. Someone pastor prayed with me with this other member, um, saying to God, Wayne hasn't got much time to waste. He wants answers now, not tomorrow. That's how the prayers went. And they just said, okay, we've prayed into it now. Pretty much good to meet you. And we'll see you later, sort of thing. And I literally walked out of the church building, crossed over the road, and my daughter phoned me and said, Dad, I've missed you.
That's amazing.
And I was just like, and I rang my pastor straight away after the phone call, and I said, how have you done that? And he was like, it wasn't me, it was God. So
Amazing. So that kind of that confirmed to you that he loved you, I guess, and
well,
he answered the prayer, didn't he?
well, to be fair, no one else could have done that, because people tried, really. Even Poppy's mum tried to get through to her and tell her to speak to me, but she was adamant. She was just like, no, I'm not having nothing to do with it. So, like,
Yeah.
it could only have been one person, and that must have been God.
And so what? So what happened after that then, Wayne? What was life like once you realised that Jesus was real?
Um, yeah, it's a process, isn't it? It's like your own walk, and we're all different. But I still drank. I still did things I shouldn't have, but it wasn't every day. All of a sudden, it went slowly but surely. It went from like every day to every 3 days. Then it went to just Fridays, and well, it was. I think it was about the 18th of December the last time I had a drink. And I've not had one since.
That's
And
amazing.
I believe that he's took that off me. Like, you can explain this to the world and they'll say, no, no, it's all that, you could stop yourself from drinking. Well, I only have one answer to that. And like, I couldn't because I didn't. I knew how bad it was. I knew how bad I felt every morning. And I still did it the next day and the day after. So, like, people don't realize that what God does here is like, I believe now that he's even took away from me I finished work now and I don't even feel like I used to, I love a point now. Don't even have that anymore.
Yeah. So you feel like he's changed your desires,
100%.
and
100% is taking it from me.
so would you say that you have a relationship with Jesus now? What does that look like?
Yeah, like I serve now at the church, obviously, on the, as you know, on the desk, and I've started to, I've changed my clothing. Well, I haven't. God's done it all for me because you can just speak to him. You can give everything that you've got, every issue going on. You can talk to anyone you want about it, and they're not going to be able to do what he can do. Like, you go into what we call the secret place, or you can get the fellowship from your brothers and your sisters, and there will always there's only one person that can do it for you, and that's God. Is the only person. You can talk to him wherever you want, whenever you want, and he'll help you through it all. Look, there's no way I would have stopped drinking on my own, and I just know that he's real, and I know that he saved my life.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. And
Mm.
so you mentioned the secret place. Can you just kind of explain what that is for people who may not know what that is? So what is it that you do?
Well, for me, it's like, obviously people might think you've got to go to church just to pray or with someone or whatever, but like, I work away a lot, and for me, I just like to get that time now, or God gives me that time now where it's just me and him, and we can have that conversation between me and him of anything that's going on or anything that I've. Before it used to be like, I'm sorry, I've got drunk again, but now it can be anything. Like, I want more boldness. I want to be able to pray out loud and stuff. So they're the sort of conversations I have with him in my time with him. Like, he's just as if he's just in a room, or you can be in a room where it's just you and him.
Yeah. And obviously, I've sort of seen the change in you. I didn't know you too well before you started coming to church, but I know what you've told me, and I've sort of seen you since. And I remember you coming round my house, and the neighbours sort of looking out the window because you were mowing my lawn, and you were singing your head off, worshiping God, and they were like, who's this guy in the garden?" And would you say that you just feel more joyful and more free since you've come to know Jesus?
Yeah, definitely. It's a big lift, John. Like I love worship now. And everyone knows I love worship, and I worship everywhere. I worship at the top of my voice in the middle of Asda if I have to, or if I'm walking down the street. Like you said, I was mowing your grass, and I think the whole street knew I was there.
It did.
But it wasn't. They're not the worldly songs that I used to listen to, and they were all praise and worship to God. Like, what else is better to sing about? Worship. I don't know what else there is to sing about anymore.
That's amazing. Well, I really appreciate you coming and sharing your story um, with me, and I know that you were really keen to do that, and I really appreciate that. And and I just hope that people who heard your story, who may be in a similar position,
Yeah,
that that maybe they will take their opportunity to reach out to God, just like you did,